For this week, I want to talk about Bitcoin. I bought 27 Bitcoin to date. This is not a flex. I'm not here to brag. I don't have a Ferrari. The next 20 minutes or so are going to be a lecture. Why I bought 27 Bitcoins, what is the YouTube video that completely changed my life, and I link it in the description, and the one math equation. When I saw it, I believed that Bitcoin is going to the million. All it took was one math equation to convince me that Bitcoin is going to be $1 million. So buckle up, grab your tea, coffee, matcha, or whatever it is, and let's begin. First of all, before we begin, classic, nothing is financial advice. Like seriously, don't buy any token, nothing, don't do anything, okay? This is just me sharing everything I've learned over the last few years. I've been thinking a lot about this, and I just really think if somebody else is in my shoes and I want them to know how I'm thinking about this in the hopes of convincing them or just telling them how I got convinced. Okay, so let's begin with the biggest thing that convinced me. It's a fraud. It's a fraud. Seriously, it's a fraud. The economy is a fraud. The dollar is a fraud. When I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, US dollar, I am rich. You have a US dollar, it means it's worth something. When you become old enough, you realize that the US dollar is an idea that's not forever. It's not forever. What do I mean by that? The minute you make a dollar, I really believe that your number one job should be to not have a dollar. The minute you get a dollar, like a salary, $1,000, I believe everyone's job should be to find another thing to buy with that $1,000. Because if you keep that $1,000 in your pocket, it will grow down in value 3 to 5% every year forever. Okay? So it means you have a guaranteed loss. It's called inflation. Check it out. It's everywhere around us, okay? So if we think about this, the reason why we have inflation, it's actually good that we have inflation. It should help us stimulate the economy. It should help us consume, purchase. That's how you get growth, when people spend the dollar on buying things, on investing in things. So I'm not against inflation. We need inflation, like 2 to 3% inflation, I like. But that does not mean you should save your money in dollars. The minute you have enough, and you're asking me, why are we talking about this? We're talking about Bitcoin and 27 Bitcoins. We'll get to the Bitcoin, okay? Just listen. So the dollar is good as a currency, something to spend, but it's really terrible to save your life's savings with. So the question becomes, how can I keep my money? So maybe if you're watching this, let's assume you're not rich, okay? For you, you make money, you spend it on rent, you make money, you spend it on food. That's what I did for the first 30 years of my life. I make money and I immediately spend it because I don't make that much money and I need to eat. So I didn't save much. Okay, whatever, dollars are fine. The minute you get rich, which if you're watching this, you probably will be richer in 10 years or so. The minute you get rich, your number one question is not, how do I pay rent? And it's not, how do I afford food? And it's not, how do I buy a car? The minute you get rich enough, let's say $1 million and above, and there's millions of people like that, by the way. The world is quite rich, even though it doesn't look like it. The minute you get rich enough, your number one question is, how do I stay rich? Okay? How do I keep my money? I love being rich. How do I stay rich for as long as possible? This is what rich people ask themselves every day. Now you know. They tell me, and I'm telling you. So rich people ask themselves, how do I stay rich? You know what they do? They buy real estate. They buy land. They buy art. Why do you think these art exhibitions, why do you think people pay $50 million for, a piece of art? It's to stay rich. Not because they want to spend 50 million, is because they know next year they can sell this for 50 million or more. So it's a way to store their 50 million. It's a way to park than 50 million. So if you have money, if you have $10,000 or $10 million, you want to keep that money. You don't want to lose it to inflation. Are you with me? You're with me. Good. You buy gold, you buy land, you buy real estate, you buy art. That's how you store your value. Okay, so let's say I have $1 million. I want to buy land. Well, which land do I buy? Is it Manhattan land? Is it farmland? Is it land in Kenya? You know, not every land is the same. When I buy the land, I pay taxes. When I pay taxes, I want to sell the land. I need to wait months. It's hard to buy land. What if you get flooding? What if there's an earthquake? What if the land loses value because of war? So that's not a very good place to put your money. I would not put my money in land. And by the way, my dad loves to put his money in land. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? This land is not worth very much. You know? So land is not really good. So maybe real estate. People say real estate, very good. Okay, real estate, very good. Fine. You buy an apartment. You have to spend months looking for the right apartment. You have to do maintenance. The apartment floods every year. It leaks. You have to rent it out. You have to find a renter. You have to pay rental taxes. You want to sell the apartment. You have to wait months. Yes, the apartment goes in value, but what if you buy an apartment in a bad building? Then you lose value. What if there is crime? Not a good place to store your money. Now you see where the problem is. Okay, fine. Let's do gold. Okay, gold, easy. Just buy the gold, take it with you. Okay, they have $1 million. You buy 1 ton of gold. Okay, there is war. You have to escape. You have 1 ton of gold. Are you going to get on the plane with 1 ton of gold? Good luck. Right? That gold is saved in a bank somewhere else. Somebody robs the bank. Your gold is gone. So what the hell do you do? Nuclear war comes and your gold is gone. What do you do? So as you know, we've had gold as a nice way to invest money for thousands of years, and it worked. It works. Gold is actually the best. But come on. It's really hard to carry a ton of gold if you need that money immediately. Now, all of these problems exist if you live in America. Now imagine if you live in Kenya. The real estate is not very good. People are not clamoring for renting in Kenya. Land, let's say some land is arid, some land is not arid. You know, I love Kenya, but it's not Manhattan, it's not New York. So if you live outside America, your problem is even 10 times worse. If you live in Venezuela, good luck. You know, inflation is like, I don't know, 100%, 200%. It's crazy. So you cannot stay rich. So the world is designed to make you work hard, make money, and lose money. The world is not designed to have you work hard, make money, become rich, and stay rich. So your job is to stay rich the minute you make enough money, or keep the money. It doesn't have to be rich. We're talking about $1,000 or $10 or $1 million. It's the same concept. Okay, that's where the internet comes to save everybody. And this is what really convinced me. The internet comes, and the first time we got the internet, we said, everything is free on the internet. You know, you have a picture, I can make 100 million copies of the same picture. There is no value to your internet picture. There's no value to anything on the internet because I can copy it forever. Right click, save, it's in my hard drive. So the internet started the first 20 years as something that is free for everybody. And we love that about the internet. But at some point, one person said, hey, why don't we create something valuable on the internet? Something worth money on the internet. Is that possible? Turns out it is possible. Yeah, when you look at the math, I'm getting really excited talking about this. When you look at the math, it is actually possible to design something that is worth money on the internet. You cannot right click and save it. It's basically a mathematical equation that no one can break unless you have some crazy quantum computer, which we'll talk about later in a different video. So somebody figured out a way to create something of value on the internet. Now, that was called Bitcoin sometime around 2008. And then The idea of Bitcoin was, okay, let's create 21 million of these tiny things that are worth something that nobody can break. We're going to make 21 million of these unbreakable objects. You have to trust math. These are actually unbreakable. That's why they're worth money, because they're unbreakable. So I'm going to make 21 million of these unbreakable objects, and I'm going to give it to anybody. Anybody that wants it can do some bit of work on the internet, and then they'll get some of that. He basically reinvented gold on the internet. And then what happened? This became Bitcoin. That Bitcoin was worth 1 cent, then became $1. And when it became $1, this whole thing was worth $21 million. So Bitcoin was worth $21 million. That sounds like a lot, but it's actually not. If you figure out how much, art pieces are worth. Art pieces are worth $50 million, but they're nothing. But that's worth $50 million. So anyway, this Bitcoin thing is 21, and then the price started to go up and up and up and up. And the reason why it started to go up and up and up and up is because you cannot make more. You're stuck with 21 million of these coins. So what this became, it became the gold of the internet. And this is where I was like, okay, I need to participate in this industry. If I believe that it's really hard to store money in a land, real estate, gold, and art, it's very hard to put your money there. What if I put my money in this online gold? What will happen? And so I bought 27 Bitcoin. I think my average price was $50,000 or something like that. And of course, now it's almost like $90,000 to $100,000 as of today. But what happened is magical. The world started to agree that this is the gold of the internet. And if anybody in the world living in Kenya or living in Switzerland or living in New York wants to keep their $100 and not lose it to inflation, all they need is an internet connection. And if you just get on the internet with your phone and just buy the thing, in a way you kept your money. You stored the value of your money. That's amazing, because if there's a World War III, you can get on a plane and leave and you still have your money because it's on the internet. This is amazing because if there's an earthquake, you still have your money. If there's a flood, you still have your money. If there is a civil war, you still have your money. If the whole world collapsed, if one person has an internet connection, then you have your money. Now that's incredible. That's a beautiful world to live in, where money and value just lives on the internet. You don't have to carry it around. You don't have to put it in real estate. You don't have to do anything. And that became the gold of the internet. I bought 27 Bitcoins because I bought 27 pieces of gold. And in 10, 20, 30, 40 years, when you tell your grandkids that you have 27 Bitcoins, they will be like, what? It's like somebody saying, oh, my grandpa used to own half of Manhattan. They're like, oh my God, your grandpa must have been very smart. It's not smart. It's like when you know where the future is heading, you have to actively manage your life today. So I'm not telling, don't buy Bitcoin. Don't do anything from this video. I'm telling you why I did it. Now, the bigger idea of this is not Bitcoin. The bigger idea I want you to believe in is that this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. In the next 5 years, I mean, it happens today, but you'll see it more in the next 5 years. You will be able to own things on the internet. Not just Bitcoin. You should be able to own everything you want on the internet. What do I mean by that? If you live right now in India, okay, you're in India right now, and you want to buy real estate. Let's say you say, oh, I don't like the real estate in my village. I want to buy real estate in New York because it is the most expensive and it's the most, limited supply, and New York real estate is amazing. Can a kid in India buy an apartment in New York? Good luck. First, you need $3 million. Then you need permits. You need to fly here. Then you need to find somebody to sell you, to trust you, bank account, wiring. Impossible. In the next 5 years, this is what's going to happen. A kid in India can buy an apartment in New York. How? That apartment will live on the internet. it will become tokenized. That's the word called tokenized. By that I mean somebody that owns this apartment says, I want to sell not 100% of this apartment, I want to sell 1% of this apartment. Okay? So I create, let's say I have an apartment. This is my apartment. I make 1 million coins. Okay? I make 1 million coins, and if somebody owns 1 million of these coins, they own my entire apartment. This is legally binding. And then those coins, anybody can buy on the internet. So if there's a kid in India that buys 1 coin for $1, that means that this kid in India owns 1 out of 1 million of an actual apartment in New York. That's awesome. Like, the reason why that's cool is because now ownership, everybody can own everything. The world we live in today sucks. Why does it suck today? Because we have Elon Musk that is worth $400 billion. We have billionaires in India, Ambani, Adani, which is fine, good for them. We have billionaires in every country, and the rest of us own nothing. And the reason people become billionaires is not because they have a high salary. It's because they own a percentage of something. So my advice to you is you should aspire to own a percentage of something. Right now, it is very hard to own a percentage of an apartment in New York. It is very hard to own a percentage of a startup. It is very hard to even own a percentage of Google, which is public. If you're a kid in India, it's very hard. You need a lot of permits. But with crypto, you can own a percentage of everything. You can own a percentage of my business. You can own a percentage of my hotel. You can own a percentage of an apartment in New York. You can own a percentage of Bitcoin, everything. So that's the internet I'm excited about. And honestly, and I'm being very honest, if in 10 years we wake up and Bitcoin is worth 0 and all of crypto is worth 0, then that's not a world I want to live in. I think that's a terrible world. The reason I put so much my money in this, because I want this world to exist. I want to support the crypto industry because I want it to exist. I want that future where one kid in India is owning an apartment in New York. And we're going to get there in 5 to 10 years. I'm very confident we're going to get there because you see the US government is now pro-crypto. For the first time in 15 years, the US government now likes crypto. They used to hate it, but now they love it. And so Trump likes it. Trump's vice president likes it. Trump's entire team likes it. Elon Musk likes it. A16Z likes it. Everybody that works in the Trump administration likes crypto. So I really am excited because you will see more people owning things on the internet. And now for the final equation. The equation that made me believe that Bitcoin is going to get to $1 million. You know what it is? It's actually very simple, okay? When I heard this, I was like, okay, for sure, Bitcoin, $1 million. If you believe that gold and Bitcoin are the same, then you believe that gold and Bitcoin will have the same value. That's it, right? So now the question you should ask yourself is, what is the value of gold? Have you ever wondered? Ayush, what's the value of gold today in the whole world?
100,000.
100,000 what?
Dollars.
The value of gold in the whole world is $100,000. No, it's not a real answer.
It's funny. My family business is gold and I couldn't answer.
Your family business is gold and you couldn't answer this. The value of gold is 17 trillion, okay? What's the value of Bitcoin? It's not $100,000. Do you know what the value of Bitcoin is? If you take every Bitcoin times 21 million, 2 trillion. So if that's the case, all of Bitcoin is 2 trillion, all of gold is 18 trillion. That means that when Bitcoin becomes as valuable as gold, Bitcoin needs to grow by 9x. And so if it grows by 9x, it means the price goes from 100 to 900,000, roughly $1 million. So this is the mathematical equation that I'm like, I actually believe in this. I actually believe Bitcoin will get to $1 million, maybe in 5, 10 years, maybe not today. So I will buy some. So that is the comparison just to understand how the world works and how big the gold market is. And there's no reason why Bitcoin cannot be as equal to gold in the world. So my last advice is, after watching this video, do not go buy Bitcoin. Do not go buy any coin on the internet. Do not go and tell your parents, oh, Nas Daily made me do it. I'm telling you, do not do it. Only do things you fully 100% believe in after years of research. This is what I did after years of research. If this is the first time you're encountering this, you've only spent 20, 30 minutes thinking about this. Spend 20 to 30 hours thinking about this, then make a decision. Until then, wish all of us luck. I wish you luck. I wish myself luck. And remember, if there's one thing to remember out of all of this is be careful of the US dollar and be careful of your currency because it's going down. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you next week for another video.